G'day, John.
Hi, Phil.
You very well? Well, I'm glad that you came down to, well, normally we do it on Tuesday, but we delayed it this week, so you could come and have a look at the Australian Ladies Billiards and Snooker
Championship, and we're very fortunate. We've got, the royalty of international billiards in Adelaide right now.
We're very, very fortunate, John. We better introduce the couple of people got on the show. So we got the World Ladies Billiard Champion and defended her title yesterday, Anna Lynch. Come on, Anna. Good to see you, Anna.
Hello, welcome.
And Anna's newly married. I don't know if you know that, John, but she's only recently.
I was very disappointed when I heard that, Phil.
Yeah.
I thought, I was still a chance, but
You're never
and jeez, it's a bit harsh. Anyway, her husband is currently the #2 professional billiard player in the world, current Irish billiard champion, and has numerous titles. Rob Hall. G'day, Rob.
Oh.
Thanks for coming along.
Rob.
Thanks for having us.
So, normally we're talking about our local scene, and we talk about what's going on in the world of snooker and pool and 8-ball and billiards, everything. But it's not often we get the chance to have a professional snooker player. Oh, sorry, professional billiard player on our show, John?
No, look, we discuss a lot of the local pool snooker scene, what's going on around Australia, but it's rare that we have sort of opportunity to talk about international level sports. In this case, the two greatest billiard players on the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
Totally.
Right.
No, look, don't undersell yourself. We all know. Well, Phil and I. Phil certainly maintained his level at snooker for a long time, and he's always dabbled in billiards. I did it as a young man. I appreciate just how difficult your sport is. And Rob and I were just having a bit of a chat earlier about how subtle a lot of the shots are at billiards. That you don't realise the little bit of work that has to occur to make the right contact with each ball to keep the break alive. And certainly I appreciate it, but unfortunately it's a skill that unless you've played, you don't understand. Oh, that looks simple. You just knock that and you hit that and you put that over the hole and you pot it and you go around again. I've seen that plenty of times. I could do that. And as we said, if you set up top of the table for an average player, 3 shots later they're lost. So congratulations to you both.
Thank you. Just while I'm here, Rob, what is your highest break at billiards?
1123.
Unfinished.
So that's roughly, for most people who know, on average, that's probably about 600 visits, or maybe 500 visits to the table, 500 shots in a row.
Yeah, 500 maybe.
That's
About 500. Yeah.
So anyone that understands Cuesport's 500 plus consecutive visits at the table to score a break around that height.
Yeah.
So,
It's the time factor as well. It's a long break, maybe an hour and 20 minutes. So then you've got your concentration and trying to keep your focus for that length of time.
it's amazing.
It is. It's a staggering amount of time. Yes. I mean, you try and think. Maximum break in snooker.
147.
Okay. You got 15 reds,
Yeah.
15 colours, and then 6 more.
Yeah.
So you've got 36 shots.
Easy
He's
going.
played 500 shots
in a row.
500 shots continuously to make a break of that magnitude, and as you say, to maintain your concentration for such a sustained period, it's a skill in itself. Most people couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's you've got to be in the zone. Almost got to zone out of what you're doing and just.
Becomes rote.
Almost. It's very repetitive.
Yeah.
But, when something seems repetitive and to the good player seems pretty easy, that's when your concentration drops. So it's trying to zone out and keep the focus while you're making the breaks.
So currently, Rob, you're #2 in the world.
#2.
Is that your highest ranking?
I actually touched #1 for a period of about 4 days. In 2000,
Big 4 days.
2013 it was, when I was in Canada. I won the opening event, which sent me to #1. I didn't win the next event, which put me back down to #2.
So you have touched the highest limit, which is amazing. And what's your biggest championship that you've won?
Oh, probably the UK Championship. there's a lot of history involved with that one.
Yeah.
The Davises and whatnot have all won that beautiful trophy. So that's probably my highlight.
Yeah.
And also things like my first national title, first what we call the English Amateur Championship, which is again steeped in history.
Yeah.
So to win that for the first time was huge.
Yeah.
Can't remember what year that was, but maybe about 11 or 12, 2011, 2012, I think. So they're the two big ones. Been to 3 world finals, so they're always good. I haven't won one yet, but
just making a final, a professional world final is amazing.
yeah. So they're like the big ones, really.
Yeah.
But it's always nice to win anything, isn't it? So, beggars can't be choosers.
They're just when I was a lad, which is a very long time ago, the Indians there was a great percentage of top shelf Indian billiards players.
Yeah.
Is that still the case? Or
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of very, very good Indian players. They're in quite a nice position in India because they managed to get some funding for their travels and practice from a couple of big corporations over there. So
Yep.
you've got Pankaj Advani, who's arguably their number one. Surav Kathari, who's also an extremely good player. But the list goes on. The amount of players over there that have made 500 plus breaks is extensive. Probably combined more than the rest of the world put together, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, your break of 1100 plus is fantastic. But anyone who can make it 500, they can play.
Oh.
That's not just sort of a casual knock around. Is it? So yeah, I mean, I remember as a lad watching a little bit and following the sport, which was quite prevalent in the probably early 70s. We got a lot of snooker that became pot black snooker became a really big deal. It was global, and then there was a lot of mention then about the Indian billiard players and how dominant they were at that time. There were a lot of very good ones, and then I think talked about Clark McConaughey, who was our world champion for like 20 odd years for billiards. New Zealand, yeah.
Big time. John's a Kiwi, by the way.
Yeah. So I remember that no one challenged him for about 20 years, and he played Rex Williams, I think it was, in '72 or something like that. And he was 72 at that time. So so that's how long how long they had to wait for him to sort of be able to wear him down. Okay, he got to 72, now we can get full attack.
Clark was playing in arguably the heyday of billiards in the 30s and 40s with the Lindgrens and Joe Davises and Willie Smiths. So to have played in that area would have been
it would have been. Yeah, that's right. They're all legends of the game.
So with Walter being an Australian, so we have a lot of history in this country with Walter. Apart from your beautiful wife, what about the other Australians? How do they sit right now?
What in perception in the UK?
No.
Well, I mean, although he's not playing currently, but Matthew Bolton is a wonderful player.
Yep.
Snoop Brand billiards is control interactions, great. And then you've had Robbie, who's not playing, but he's still kicking about in Melbourne.
Don't talk him up too much, Rob.
No.
He'll be ringing him.
He'll be commenting by now. No, so then Robbie won 3 world titles and was a great player. Current players, probably Steve would be the strongest. But also you've had players that I've never seen play, but Danik Lucas is one. Never seen Danik play. He's a 500 great player.
About Dave Collins?
Dave Collins, he had a lot of. He had a lot of. He won a lot of Victorian state titles and the nationals.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. You've got good history of strong billiards, definitely. It's good that you keep the game going over here as well. The calendar's pretty healthy compared to a lot of other places, so it's good that there's plenty of opportunity to play the other guys. It's not like that all over the world, unfortunately. Australia will keep its strength if they keep happening.
I think one of the benefits that this club in particular has is that you've got coaches that actually try and steer people in every direction, not just be a snooker player or just be that player. Billiards is a lot of the training for a lot of the young ones in here now. James has puts a lot of effort into them learning billiards and learning white ball control. But what's happening if you want to play safe, go on out, hit a half ball and go up 2 pushes down here? How do I do it? And that's certainly a real bonus here. And we've always had someone in South Australia. I remember Diamond Jim, Jim Christie. He was just a staunch advocate of billiards. And would just play shots over and over, and you had to actually get it millimetre perfect before he was happy. You'd play, come on, can you sound? No, you got that red should have come back to here, and that's only that far away. So he was a massive fan of billiards, and you couldn't get rid of him when you started talking about it. He'd be there, just talking about different shots and players, and so there's always been a very healthy interest in billiards in South Australia in particular.
Whenever we come in, the place is completely full of people just enjoying the game. It's great to see. It doesn't happen everywhere.
Yeah, well,
every night we've been in, the club is full.
There's a pretty good culture here, and like John said, we're not pro one way. We're happy to have everyone in here playing. We just want people playing. But what about you, Anna, the world champion? How do you feel you went yesterday, defending your title?
Oh yeah, it was a good day. A few ups and downs. It was pretty strong all day.
Yeah, I felt you cruised through to the final.
I had a very tough opponent in the final in Jessica Woods. She's just world class, no matter what Cuesport she's playing. So I knew I'd have a tough match there. And she started off just brilliantly and shut me out of the game, which to her credit was what you have to do to win them. And probably didn't have many chances at the start, but then got my innings going halfway through and caught back up.
I felt that halfway through that match, there could have been an upset.
There could have been,
She played very well in that first.
Jessica's always a threat, so always knew I have to work hard to beat Jess in anything.
Well, you did fantastic. And what about England? Are you enjoying living in England?
I love England. Yeah, we love England. We've got our home set up there and everything there. A gorgeous table.
So what, John? It's like hanging with the Beckhams, isn't it? Who's doing the dishes tonight?
The dishwasher.
Must be a bit hard, Rob, when you're number 2 in the world and your wife's number 1. Eh?
Yeah, well.
He manages.
Yeah.
just have to live with it.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And
I'm very proud of it. I mean, I was sat with you last night watching the final. Phil.
Yeah.
It's tough. I'd much rather be playing.
It's hard to watch.
The sidelines is tough.
Well,
Trying to keep it exciting for him.
I must admit, watching the final and sitting with Rob, and Rob's talking me through the whole game, and I learned so much just for sitting with Rob for an hour and learning the safety of the game and how to attack the game and how to set games up, and he was talking me through it. So it's just a bigger thrill watching you win as hanging out with your husband, and he was helping me a little bit with the sport, so it was fantastic. But anyway, we're so pleased that you would join us today.
Thank you, it's our pleasure. Yeah, anytime.
We're looking forward to you coming back in a year's time, and we'll have another chat to you.
Sounds good. Hopefully
and
before
look, we really appreciate you making time to do this. I mean, Phil and I, we have fun doing this, and a lot of people sort of follow us because we've been around a while. But it's so good to be able to offer them something a lot more special than just a couple of ugly mates like ours. And really appreciate it. We won't bore you with all the 8-ball talk that we're about to go through, so we'll let you go now. Thank you both very much.
Okay.
I really appreciate you making the effort to
no problem.
to come in.
Enjoyed it.
Say
Rob,
hi.
thank you. All the best, and we hope you go to number 1 because you've got some more fans now in Adelaide. And Anna, well done for yesterday, and good luck in the snooker.
Thank you.
We'll be in shortly to watch you.
Brilliant.
All right.
I'll come and watch you in the
later.
snooker as well. But all the best.
Cheers.
See you later.
Cheers. Thank you.
No worries. How good's that, John?
Hey, how fortunate are we? And the viewing audience. How lucky are you to be able to have an opportunity to have almost face to face with 2 of the greatest billiard players in the world.
Yeah, well, if you jump on YouTube and look at Rob Hall, you can see him playing, and we're talking a professional. That's like having Neil Robinson or Ronnie O'Sullivan in the room right now when it comes to billiards. And he's also a handy snooker player. He just won a tournament, made 128 break. I've seen him early in the year. He was in an exhibition with Ronnie O'Sullivan. So
okay, yeah. Hey, look, I was just watching him having hit with young Jason.
Yeah,
that's another thing. Well, we'll just throw Jason's name in. I think we already discussed that in our last chat about how well he's done. Jason, our under 16 Australian chap.
He only won it last week.
Oh, so that's right. So we haven't had a chance to discuss that. And this is a brilliant young boy from NT, from Darwin. Has moved down here to try and progress his game. And he's fortunate that his dad, Patrick, is very supportive. And they've been down here for about 4 months now. And he was very unlucky actually. He got COVID just before
he left. Yeah.
So his practice routine was severely disrupted, but he was able to actually develop some form over the weekend.
And a shaky start to the titles.
Yeah.
Lost a game early on.
Lost one early that probably we would have expected him to win quite comfortably.
Yeah.
But then obviously got his form back, and then he beat Lily in the final.
And a lot of the people watching will know Lily Meldrum because she's an 8-ball player and a phenomenal 8-ball player. But John, she never lost a match or dropped a frame getting into that final playing Jason.
Yeah.
And she won the first frame with Jason. But Jason, to his credit, stuck with his plan, got on top, and he won the event. And he made a 62 break. He's just turned 13, John, and he's making 60 breaks. And like what you're saying, you just walked in the room and he's on the table playing snooker with Rob Hall.
Yeah, that's right.
And they played 3 hours yesterday, so...
Well, look, he's got a great practice partner, and he'll be watching and learning as well. That's a good thing about Jason. He's a bright kid, and he'll watch what some of the subtleties that Rob may do during the course of their practice sessions, and he'll just lock them away, and he'll just slowly develop his repertoire. I mean, he's a very good young player now. But watching players of that sort of calibre will give him the opportunity to just pick up a couple of shots and think, actually, I don't think I would have gone this way, he's gone that way. So, invaluable.
All I know is Rob spoke to me yesterday because he had an hour's practice of billiards with Jason, doing what you spoke about. He was teaching in the half-ball shot and why it's so important. And afterwards he said to me that young lad has got a massive future and he's a sponge. He was taking everything in and listening. Yeah. So congratulations, Jason, on winning the Australian under 16
We've adopted you. You're actually South Australian now. So, and yeah, I mean, a neat kid, and certainly we're going to see and hear a lot more about him in the coming years. There's a lot of championships ahead of him, so that'll be fun. Yeah. What else have we?
Well, we did have the South Australian State Snooker on the weekend.
We did.
Oh, sorry, State 8-ball
champs. Yes, we did, and interrupted by Lyndall's 50th. So Sarwin did get there. He got a serve from Lyndall about that. How dare you schedule the state singles on my 50th weekend? But the majority.
Stacey probably would be the one the major. Loser out of that scenario.
That scenario, yeah, I think so too. But as it turned out, there was a great weekend at pool, and Iceman has ascended to the top of the pack again. I mean, he actually was quite surprising. Paul Hancock made the final.
Yeah,
Paul hasn't played much in the last. He's been playing a lot of snooker still, but he's had some health issues of late, and he's slowly coming back and looking healthier. The last few times I've seen him, which is good, and you know, he's got. I'm not sure exactly how old Paul is, but he's got to be in his 60s now, or close. And when you're not probably in your best health to play all day and maintain concentration for so long, he did extremely well, and probably not his best in the final, but Alec was just. Ruthless in the final.
I mean, Paul beat Dave Ewing in the semi-final. Dave Rothwell in the quarterfinals. I mean, they're two major contenders that Alex didn't have to worry about. Yeah. And it was a strong field, so Paul would have had to. Did he get through you, John?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he got me 5-4. So we had a good battle.
He had an incredibly tough draw to make the final, and then when you make the final, you join Alex, who's in the form of his life.
Well, he'd just beaten Mikey Hill. He had a master break to win 7-6 against Mikey.
And Lyndall, it was Lyndall's birthday, and happy 50th, Lyndall.
Yes.
She made the quarterfinals, so that's a fantastic effort from Lyndall.
Hey, Lyndall's been playing good ball. The snooker, the fact that she's playing so much snooker now, Phil, and as you know, you see her here, has been beneficial to her 8-ball game. Her potting and position has improved dramatically. She can still play what we call tricks pool or smart pool, but she's now expanding her game to where she's going a lot earlier than she would have in the past, and doing it well. I mean, I think she's like number 4 or 5 in the state at the moment. It's Super League, you know, and those are all stats accumulated through a whole season. So to be still right up there at 3/4 of the way through the season was fantastic.
Yeah. So congratulations, Alex. I'm pretty annoyed now. I just keep mentioning how good Alex is. And but anyway, well done, Alex. Fantastic effort. Paul Hancock on making the final, and it was only 3 weeks ago where Alex had a hiccup and didn't win one event, and then all of a sudden he's
well, I think not winning the Masters sort of upset him a bit. Yeah, he's going, hang on, that's not right. You know, I should be hammering these old ways.
Yeah.
And then I think he came in because you mentioned it actually. The week after that, he came in and put some serious time in here, and his little routines, not knocking lots of balls in, but his little routines that get him his cueing action settled, and then since then he's won 2 major events.
And you know what, John? We talk about how good Alex is. Yep. Do you know that Alex was in here this week and got a coaching lesson from Rob Hall? So you're talking, one of the best players in the world who is a coach, and Alex makes a point that he gets a coaching lesson from Rob Hall.
Yep.
And Alex is so good, yet he still wants to get better. He still wants to improve, and he came and got a coaching lesson from Rob Hall this week. So
that's fantastic.
That you don't get to the top for just being fortunate. So he goes the extra.
Yeah, I think he's also preparing. This next 2 weeks is fairly busy. We've got Berry coming up week today. So that'll be the Friday night will be the start of the Berry weekend. So that's always been a major event on the 8-ball calendar. And I've noticed in the draw, I had a quick look through all the players. I noticed Joel Younger's coming. Hasn't been here for a long. Hadn't been to Berry for a long time. Benny Noonan. Who else did I see? There was a number of players that probably haven't played that much lately, and I thought, well, wow, it's so cool to have them come back because they're quality players, and now they can cross the border freely. I mean, last year we didn't have the Victorians here because they were unable to come into South Australia, but I think it's up to about 300 plus players at the moment, so we'll see how that goes. But usually, as Neil said to me in the last week, the late entries make up for the late cancellations. So there's not a lot. Once we get to this week, the number's going to be roughly the same. But yeah, pretty fantastic. Then obviously the week after that, he goes and makes his debut.
Yeah,
at Pro Pool.
Yep. So
at the Pockets Pro Pool Series, and I know how much he wants to make an impression there.
Yeah.
You know, he felt he was a little bit slighted by not being involved initially, but I think now he wants to go and make an impression.
Show them what's going on. We're talking about that, John. Even yesterday we had Trent Bowes in here, who's the junior in the junior
rep for South Australia,
and he told me he'd been practicing with James, but he came in to have a hit on the snooker tables as well.
Yep.
So he was excited about playing in the event and also wanting to get better. So I'm not telling anyone not to play 8-ball, but they all want to get on that bigger table just to improve that cueing action a little bit.
In any deficiencies in your action are highlighted on the snooker table.
Yeah.
You can get away with a few of those playing pool, but certainly you only need to be a couple of mils out playing on a snooker table, and by the time it's reached the other end, you've missed by 4 inches. So it's very important that you actually have the conditioning of snooker training, and whether you want to pursue it or just use it as Ace does as a practice routine. It's time well spent.
Yeah. Well, John, we've got the. I'm very sorry. I do have some other things to talk about, but with the show coming to the end, and we got put on the spot with Anna and Rob, haven't got the information with me. So next week we'll have another one with all the information, John. And
I think if we go next Tuesday or it's up to you. I'm in a position now where I can actually do it now more often. If you want to do it,
I just feel bad because I know people have contacted me, John, and to give out information. I had some stuff about Salisbury 8 Ball Association and stuff like that, but trying to get Rob in and Anna was a big
I think
too. So
this was very important.
I'm very sorry if I haven't got all the information out, but next week I promise I'll have it on there, and I'll let you know we got the state snooker titles on the 30th and 31st of this month. So love to see everyone get involved in that too. But
yes,
John, it's always a pleasure.
mate.
It was a really good one today.
Well, look, we're very fortunate.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks everyone. Sorry about missing Tuesday, but hopefully we've made up for it to you today. Cheers.
Thanks, John.